Hey everyone.
Howdy.
Cool. Hey, I'm James. We're here on the Insomnia stream. Another one. We started this to deal with anything related to community. We want to help our community. We really feel that Insomnia couldn't be here without its community. So yeah, that's what the stream is all about. And I'm James, working on the Insomnia team. With me today, I have Dimitri.
Howdy.
How are you doing?
So far, so
And
good.
cool, nice. And I see a couple of people joining too. I see Mark and Sajan. Sorry for how I spoke about the name, but I will enable you guys. So just give me a moment. All right.
Hey guys, I don't know why it's echoing, but I'm also with the Insomnia team. I just want to call and see what we talk about the Git stuff. Nice to meet you guys all.
Cool. And also, hey, Suzanne, or
hey, hello,
feel
everyone.
free to go ahead. Hi.
Yeah. So, yeah, as I had earlier messaged Dimitri and few more folks from Insomnia team, I was facing some issue with the Git. I will show you this whenever I get a chance. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. Was there a specific issue?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Oh yeah, better. Yeah, better now.
Yeah. Sorry. So there is one issue. I am not able to sync my code into Git. So that's what I just wanted to show. So let me know when I can show it. Maybe whenever you guys are done.
You can show it.
Feel free.
You want to share your screen?
Okay. Now only I'll share. 1 second.
I think you can do that here.
Cool.
I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So for example, let me create a new branch. So which is like test one maybe, and done. So basically I'm from a QA background. I'm not a developer. I'm from a testing background. So I am exploring this test tab available in Insomnia. So that is what I would want to, be more using in my project. So yeah, I had created, I guess, test one branch. Is it not created? Ooh. Anyways, let me type again, test one, and create. So yeah, test one is created now. And you see this is created here. Okay. Cool. Now I will commit. I'll just put some commit initial commit. Okay. And then I'll do commit. Now I'm going to push my branch to the Git repository, which is here. So this is my Git repository, and it will be coming. Yeah, I can see test one is created here. Okay, so I'll switch to that branch, and if you see here, this .insomnia workspace is created. However, what I notice is I don't see my tests which are here in Insomnia, right? Test one, return 200, and return 200, the second test, right? So these tests are not pushed somehow. Do you see that?
Yep. I think this has to do with how Insomnia exports its data. And I'm not sure if the tests are always included. So let's try and figure it out. But it's a very interesting background that you come from writing tests. because it's a use case we're discussing at the moment in the team. How can we help people that write tests? You know, how can we make it better for them? So, what are, except for exporting, what are other things you might have found, or you thought about, oh, that would help me solve my workflows?
James, if you Philippe made a comment in the YouTube. If you
Awesome.
click it in Restream, it'll show up. I think there's like that comment section. But maybe this has a simple solution if we follow his instructions. So yeah. So let's go back and try to commit again, or like make some small change and try to commit again and see if we saw them there.
Sure, sure. Let me make some changes then. So, for example, I'll do one thing. Go to this test maybe. Okay, 1 second. Well, let me create a new test altogether.
Like white space change would be fine. Yeah, anything.
Oh, okay, let me create a new test. Git push and select and update an existing test, which will be this. And yeah, I mean, it's just a change in the code, which I have done. Now I will do a commit. Okay.
Yeah. So let's
And
see.
Yeah, if you look at the unversioned objects below,
Well,
it asks you to select what objects you want to include into your commit, because this like the test API spec has changed, the environment. So all these things we haven't committed yet. So we would need to include them, either all or the ones you specifically want.
okay, okay, I got it. So let me select this one for the time being, or
Yeah.
all the available ones in the test one. Okay, yeah.
I think if you also want to use the tests for combining this with INSO, for example, and running your tests on a command line on a CI/CD environment, you should also commit the requests, because the tests are going to try to find these request objects to run them, and your environments. So you probably should commit all of these things unless you don't need something.
Let me
Is what
do
I'm
it
trying to
for
say.
all then. Yes, yes, I got it. So that could be a possible reason. Commit, and then let me push it. Push. Oh, yes, it is coming. Wow, that's awesome. That is
Awesome.
what I was missing. Uh, I had a couple of more questions. If you guys have some time, please.
this is what this is for. Any questions you like?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I will go to the other project, which is this PLM one now. So here I created one test suite, and I have written this code here. Okay. And how did I write is there is a token API which is generating me one token, and so this token is generated, and the same token I am using in the next request, which is nothing but, so this like get token will be kind of username and password. I'm trying with one website, and get season is getting me a list of some seasons, where I'm putting this bearer token as this, and I'm sending this. Okay, so this is returning me this. Now what I'm doing is I'm copying the code from here, and I'm trying to run this code basically. Same thing I did with the token one, generate code, and control A, control C. So, and I'm going to the test tab. here I created a new test token 1 new test. Then if I go here, Control A, Control V, it will all run fine. Okay, and I will see a token will also be generated. Okay, 1 second. So if you see, this security token is getting generated. Fine. Okay. Now I want to do the same thing for the get season, where I'm using that token right already. So this token is being used, and as you see that this request went successful. I copied this code. It is a get request, so it doesn't have a data basically. And I came to test and then new test and get season 1. Okay, now I'm putting my code here. If I run, it is not going through. I mean, it says that the token has expired and all. So I could not figure out why is it failing here.
Hmm.
I have a few questions. Why wouldn't you just select, instead of generating a code snippet, why wouldn't you just select the request that you want to? Yeah, exactly. Like
Yes,
the one above.
Yes. So because see, in my project, we are. I will give you some more background, maybe why I'm applying that. So, for example, I want to run some negative tests. Okay, and for that, what I want to do is I want to run this for loop. So this is a pet store project where I don't have any tokens and all. But what I want to achieve here is I am running a for loop, and I want to run this copied request multiple times, and I want to read the JSON which has different kind of values. So this is the negative API testing I'm going to do, where suppose the JSON payload has 5 fields. I will make all these 5 fields kind of incorrect. Like I will prepare 5 different JSON files. I will keep 4 fields correct and 1 field incorrect, and I'll do it for all the 5 fields. So this is a kind of a negative test. I am expecting that API will be failing. Okay, so to do that, what I am doing is like the request which I generated or the code which I generated, I am putting it in a for loop, and the JSON file I'll be putting in my local folder, where I will be like when I run this for loop for 5 times, for example, from 1 to 5. Okay, then it will be reading this file pet1, and it will be running, and it is actually working already. So if you see, I have this pet.json file. It is going to create the pets. It is a post request. So if I run twice, so because I have 2 JSON files, it's okay.
Yep.
I have put, yeah, I thought, I mean, I guess you have understood what I am trying to achieve. So for pet.json, it is working fine. I am reading 2 JSON files with pet1 and pet2, and I'm controlling the code from the for loop. How
You broke up there for a second.
Yeah, I have some. I understand what you're trying to do. I have some feedback there that perhaps can help you automate some of the things, so you don't need to copy paste the code all the time. I'm thinking about instead of using this, you can use the Insomnia send request. I'm not sure if we can do the. I think we should be able to do the chaining, use the chaining feature to grab the token, and then use the templates to just put the token on the request you want to make, and make it like that. And then perhaps you can have like 4 different tests, each one running a different JSON thing, or just copy paste with 4 different JSON things. Because one of the things I see here is this requiring files and whatnot. Yeah.
So let's start with that. Like, you want to try to add the token with request chaining?
Yeah, we can try this.
So yeah, let's go to that first. Let's go to the first request that uses the token.
This is the first request, which will be, I mean, I want it to use the token.
Okay, great. But let's go to the
I think
debug.
I can. Yeah, debug.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And then here in your bearer, you can go to where, the security token. So could you, just so we see what it looks like, you can close the dev. It'll be easier if you can close the dev tools. Could you go to the token request you have there and send it so we can see what the response looks like? So
yeah, the one below.
the green one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I see.
This is the post request. Oh yeah.
All right. So if you go to get seasons, and you go to the better and you select that value that you copy pasted the token, like the whole thing, you can delete this, and you can do response body. Oh, I know what this is.
You have to change the setting. So
It's
you have a setting on for raw templates. If you go to your set,
Here.
nope, the like app global settings in the top right. There's like a gear icon. Yeah, you have to unclick raw templates syntax on the right, third one on the right. Yeah, and it should, it'll restart Insomnia, which is what that little thing said. So when you restart, you should be able to see now something a little more helpful, because we have a like little pop-up that'll show up and help. It's like a little wizard.
Right. I have gone to one YouTube video where response.
Awesome. So if you click on that, cool. So we can see here you're going to select. That's right.
Yep.
Yep. Body value of the response body. That's correct. And then, yep, you got to select token.
$.
And then dot token. Great.
Cool. And you can also choose the behavior, like if you want it to always run, or when it's expired. Like there's many ways you can trigger this.
Oh, when expired would be helpful then.
Sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So let's send this again, see if it works. Cool.
Yeah.
So now we set up. It seems like you've done that before. Have you?
Yes. I mean, through the videos and the help you guys are providing on the YouTube and all. Yeah.
Was there any reason that you didn't do it in this case?
Maybe because I created this new and I forgot to unclick this, because I was trying clicking all these options, and I was trying, and I was wondering why this option is not coming now. But yeah, now it is clear.
Great. Okay, that's good feedback though. I'm glad I asked. Yeah, it is. It can be counterintuitive if you've clicked that setting. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you go back to your test now, let's create a new test just for fun.
Okay.
So yeah, just token, sure. So where it says select request there, so yeah, go ahead and select get seasons. Yeah. And if you run that, you're going to see that it ran the thing in the debug tab, except it's just looking at the status.
Right.
what is it that you wanted to assert on?
So no, first of all, I want to run this request multiple times. So see, unfortunately, it is a GET request. Had it been a POST request where I want to use multiple JSONs, okay, and I want to run this same request using different JSON data. How do I achieve that? It is a GET request. It is not using any, JSONs currently, but consider it is a POST request which I want to run like 5 times for different JSON files. JSON 1, JSON 2 to JSON 5.
Gotcha.
How do I achieve it here?
So I'm looking now to see, you would modify the request in the code, but I'm looking now to see how we would actually do that.
And yeah, I could very well achieve that, as I showed you that other, tests. It is working fine there. The only thing is that there I don't have in the pet store, the token is not there. Okay.
Yep, I hear you. I'm trying to find
Here,
an archive.
Here I just copy pasted that code for get, and I just wanted to run it without I just wanted to use it with that token, and even the get request is not going through. It is showing me error, right? Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So here it is not a post request though, but I just wanted to try it for the get request itself, and it is showing me error that it is not authenticated.
Yep, I have you. So I'm looking now. So the first question I want to know is if the send, what I'm looking at, maybe I can share.
Sure.
Let's see here.
Felipe added a great comment, by the way.
Where?
So again, he says, try control space inside the testing code, and you can add other requests and repeat them.
But he doesn't just want to repeat them. He wants to send them something to change. You see, that's the. Is that right, Sajan?
Yes, yes. I want to run the same request with different JSONs, and the JSON file I am giving, like in the code as you saw, I was putting I like pet plus I. So it will be, if I run the for counter for I, it will be like pet 1, pet 2, pet 3, like that in each run.
Yep, I hear you. So what you pass to send. I wish so we're trying really hard right now to get like the code base in TypeScript, and one of the things that doesn't have types very well right now is the plugin API, and I can't tell. I have to like read the code and try to understand what exactly is happening, like where it's sending, where that .send is. So there's two options. The first option is going to be to pass a parameter to the send method that you call, and the second option would be to change the request declaratively, and I think that's probably the one we're going to have to go with, if I'm guessing right. But I'm looking as fast as I can.
And yeah, the thing is, like, I could achieve a solution in the pet store. The only problem is that token fee is not working in the get season, right? Otherwise, I could achieve whatever I wanted to. The negative testing, I'm now like stuck due to the token thing. And I'm really not sure why the token is not working in that test thing. It should have ideally worked, because it is the same call, I believe, from the design or from the debug tab it is making, right?
You can well, you can call, if all you need is the token. We know that because we watched it happen in this PR. You can call the token by ID. Like you can send a request and get a response inside the test, and you can just do response.body, whatever it would be. You would JSON parse, this response.body, and then you would take .token out of that. That would solve Could you share your screen again? Let's try that, because if that's the easiest thing to do, then maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's a very actual use case, and it's very interesting to see it,
So
to understand how it works.
So do you see here how it says response response 1 equals await insomnia.send. So to.send, let me try to do this on my side as well. You can pass the ID of another request so that you can kind of randomly call another request. This is one of the reasons that the Insomnia testing stuff
Okay.
is separated from the requests themselves, is so that you can do this kind of like cross request thing.
Okay.
Uh,
But see,
by ID.
sorry to interrupt you, but how I understand it is this insomnia.send. Uh, will it not always refer to this request? So you are telling that we can get a token out of it, and after that we can use that token somewhere in the
Yes,
get season request. Okay,
right. It'll be
but
a response one. You can assert on it. So do expect response 1 dot. Well, I'm guessing it would be dot body. Let me look at our response object.
okay, but even if I get that token, right? So I tried that token here already, like this barrier security token, right? Other before joining this call, I had tried that option also. Like I was just using the security token generated from the other request. So what I'm saying here is like I ran this request, I got the token from the the console, and I copy pasted that token and replaced this part security token. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that was also not working.
Oh. It looks like the security token also has a header in the line above,
I had, yeah, actually, I
and
had
it's different.
comment, yeah, I had commented this. I mean, even if it is not different, guess, because if you see this part, right, it is all same. Like,
It has a
uh,
space. It doesn't have a space at the end. It has %22, which is space, isn't it?
yeah, yes, yes. But I
No, it
don't
is.
think that is the, problem because I'm just copying it from here. I'm really not sure though, but yes.
Yeah.
I had commented it also. I tried multiple ways actually before joining this call. I am breaking my head for last 2 days to achieve this.
Well, sorry about that.
Maybe you will be having few requests and you can try at your end. And just in case if you have some time for my queries.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing. I don't know. Like when I was generating the token, it is the similar request, but it is working fine. So if you see here, yeah, okay, it is a different thing. Ignore it, what I said.
Hmm.
But when I copied that code for get season, isn't Insomnia making the
I'm
same
curious.
call? I mean, isn't it using the same code?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if set request header takes care of like spaces and stuff and normalizes the string, or if you need to do it yourself. It's been a long time since I used this API.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm asking Philippe a question. Maybe he'll know.
Yeah, I see you. I see people are suggesting to use like B2A
Oh, because maybe there's like a.
to put the token there. So can you make better security token stuff? Can you make like better space, close the thing, and then plus um, close the string there if you can? Like put another.
Uh, yes, okay. So you want me to remove something?
Yeah, if you go to the better words and like after the space, you can close the string.
Close the string like braces.
Yeah, like no, with the ticks. What's the proper English word? Backticks?
Yeah.
No,
Above.
backticks are the double quotes. Sorry,
Double
double
quote.
quotes.
Okay.
Yeah. And add another one, and between them add a plus sign.
Okay. Like this. Yes. Like this.
Yeah, and then if you wrap this second string in a function, yeah, you need to close it too. Like add another, yeah. And now if you wrap this in a function and call a bit2oa, btoa.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I tried that thing, but BTOA it is not recognizable. So what
Oh,
I'm saying here is it will require some package. So all these things I was trying, if you see,
Well, try
this,
B to A, not base64.encode, because maybe that global is
it,
not exposed.
yes, yes, it came later. I mean, earlier I was trying with BTOA, but yes, I will try it now also in front
Okay.
of you.
All right. All right.
Uh,
cool.
BTOA, but that package, it will require that package.
Yeah, just to make sure that if that's the problem, we could try to grab. We could try to make this like run this in a window somewhere. If you like toggle the DevTools and run this in window, we can get the output and throw it in here.
Hey, Philippe.
Hey, folks, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
It's so nice to see so many people on the stream today.
Is there anything I can help you, folks?
Well,
So we're debugging. We're debugging this code, but I think what the real problem we have with Insomnia right now is how can we parameterize a request on the testing code. I think that's not easy to figure out or how to do. But on the other side, we're also trying to find how Suzanne's code works with the token stuff.
can I take a crack at explaining it? Because maybe Philippe has maybe Philippe knows better how we could do this. So he has a request. It just so happens, and this is a bit of an implementation detail, but we're struggling with it. It happens to be that the test first needs to call a token endpoint to get a token to be able to send the request that it needs. So just table that for a second. He has some JSON files on disk, and he wants to send the values of those JSON files in a loop to multiple to the same request, the one that calls the token endpoint, or needs the one that needs a token. It doesn't actually call the endpoint, but the one that needs a token. So it's a post request, and in that body, he needs to substitute out different values and different JSON files that again he has on disk, and that's what we're trying to solve. Did I say it right? Is that close?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, for right off the bat of my head, like I know that we don't officially support that thing of reading from a file programmatically on the test code itself.
He figured it out.
Like there's a handful of things that you could try here. One of them is on the last test that you were developing on the bottom, the test underscore token. One thing that you could try and play around with is take into account that your request, when you select the one that the opposite one of get it of post token, what was it? It was get streams seasons. Right, you could try and switch to that one. And the other thing that you could try is on the test code itself. If you like start editing the code below, if you click on it and edit it,
This one?
yeah. Press enter there a few times, and if you do control space, there's at least two things that might help you in some cases. One of them, it sends the one that the request that you have selected there, and the other one sends the request by ID. If you press that last one, are you with the new latest Insomnia version?
I'm on 2022.3.
All right, so this is not working on the latest table. You need to download a beta, the latest beta that we have, where we have this fixed.
Or I have a workaround.
Yeah. Go ahead,
The
Dimitri.
workaround would be, so this is broken right now, but there's a fix for it that we can, or a workaround we can use. So let's go to the debug tab again and select the request that you want to put in there. Okay, and then if you go click on that, click on that little drop down there and click settings. See on the very top it says REQ and then underscore and then there's like 7. If you just copy that, if you copy that and then go back and put it into the code, that's the same thing that it would be. Yeah, exactly. So instead of send, you would inside send, I think you would put double quotes and paste that, and it would send that different request. So await insomnia.send, and then you would put the contents of line 4 inside that function call. Exactly.
Like this.
Let's try that. So try to run the test.
What did I copy? Like from season or from
You
token?
copy the database object that refers to this request, which is what the plugin API does under the hood and what that autocompleter is supposed to do for you. But like Philippe said, we fixed it already, but it was broken. So you should see it working.
Looks like it's working, right?
The only problem with this is, sorry, go ahead, Dimitri.
That's all good. You could take this maybe between line 1 and 2, just to show you what's there. If you could add console.log response 1. And run the test again. So that's the thing. That's the data that you have access to from this response.
Okay. Now, Dimitri, one question here. So this is a GET request, right? But my problem is the POST request with different JSON files.
I hear you.
So I understand. Yeah. It will work fine. How do I change the JSON, I can put a for loop on here and I can run it multiple times, but it will be always running a single request from the debug tab, right?
Can you select the environment that the request uses in the test?
I don't know. I was wondering that as well.
I think right off the bat, I don't think that's possible. You'd have to go back to debug tab and flip the environment and then go back again to the test.
So, okay. So this thing, whatever I want to achieve, right? I could achieve it, just for your knowledge, I could achieve it in pet store. I am using different, JSON files, and I could put a for loop on it. So this is my code. But the only good thing here is it was not using the token. Whenever this token is coming into picture, my code is failing in the other, API, in the another, what we call it, document. So here I could use different JSON, for example, and I could get the successful response here. It is a post request. Clear this. I have shown this.
The problem with this approach is you will not be able to use it to run the test from a command line tool or something else. You will only be able to use them from your machine because you're referring to a file. Like you're expecting a file on D somewhere to be available. So your colleagues or whoever you share this with, they would need to do the same to set up their environment.
that was my next question. Like, see, currently I require this file. I am hard coding this complete code. Okay. In usual projects, we just give the, we can put these files in some project folder where we don't have to give this absolute path. We can simply give or create this folder somewhere in the project directory, and we can use such kind of things, right? So that is what my next question was, like, where do I put these files so that it doesn't use the absolute path, but the project folder path?
In your
Okay, that
case,
is, I
what I
mean,
would try, sorry,
yeah. So,
sorry,
but yeah,
I was trying to say, yeah, in your case, what I would try to do is, because then it would be able to be shared with my, with my colleagues, or running the CI. You could use the environment,
okay.
to like store the data you want for you as your fixer data, or and have like different requests. No, but then you only can use one environment, right? Or the other one would be just create a duplicate of the request, with the data you want to pass in the debug, and then just run all these tests.
Yeah, so if you say like pass the data in debug tab, right? That is the manual part which I just want to avoid. So I understand what you said. Like, I will have to change this file again manually again
Yeah.
and again. Right? But
One way
yeah,
you could go with this is
mm,
you could put some default values in your environment to always pass them, and then make like make 5 example requests, and override the ones you want for its specific request to be false. If you want to reuse some values, but anything else makes it much harder, to load files or to share them. It's a tough.
it was not. I would say. I mean, I could achieve it.
It it sounds like you need to use the request as a template. Am I understanding it right? So what if we provide a button in the test row, let's say add payload, and then in this with this payload button you click it and it opens up model, and then it allows you to put list the payload that you want to run through with this test. So it's going to
But
just
can the same request run for multiple payloads?
so essentially we're treating this request. I mean, it's not available now, but I'm just ideating how we can solve this for the future. So we're treating the request as a template instead of requests with the payload, which is static. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, to help you out now, I would say what you're doing is probably getting you there, in the easiest way, because it looks like we don't support this kind of workflow very well. So I think your problem is probably this B2OA thing. I would try to search, try to make it work, by pasting the string of the token after I did it somewhere, like in a, run it in a node or in a window, actually, to have the video, I think. You could run it on the DevTools, grab the token, wrap it in a BTOA function on the DevTools, and then copy paste the string that you get back. But it's still not going to help you. Even if you go with this way, you're still going to end up having issues with how you share the data, the files, with other people. If that's your problem, like perhaps perhaps you're okay with running it locally, and that would solve your case.
Yep.
Do you? I don't know if I heard a clear answer, like to that question that James just asked. Do you want to share this with your colleagues, or is it just something you want to just run by yourself? And if it only can run on your computer, then that's okay with you.
No, actually, I want to share it with my colleagues, but this file reading thing is not a big issue because these payloads I can share with them in the form of like they can download it to their B directory and they can use it, right?
Correct.
Mm.
You could also inline them if they're not so big, like just copy paste the contents. Because then someone wouldn't need to like load a file. They could just run the script and it should work. But yeah, I'm sad to say that there's not a clear way to do this. But that's some of the best input we can get because we can try and make something like this. Um,
Yeah, you want to be able to. So like ultimate. So tell me if I'm wrong, anyone. Ultimately, the use case here is you want to be able to modify the request right before sending it. So you set it up like the template of it in the debug tab, but then in the test right before sending it, you might want to change one thing, like one body attribute or one query parameter or something.
Right, right.
And then you're going to run it. Everything
Correct.
else is the same, including the token stuff. You don't want to have to do that every time. You want to set that up in the
Yes.
debug tab and then be able to change it, and things will be added in. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, that's great feedback. Like James said, I also don't know of a way that we could. It's difficult for me to find a place in the plugin API where we could modify this right now. It doesn't seem like there is one. We can definitely, like, the scripting capability is not really set up for this kind of use case in a number of different fronts. Like you have found workarounds here by requiring local JSON files and other things, like for things that you're not theoretically supposed to be able to do, but which I'm very happy that you figured it out. Because it's cool to see what people are coming up with. It's inspiring to see what people are coming up with. But in general, yeah, even like you got it, the XML HTTP request npm from your local file
Yes.
system. That's kind of cool. Um,
Yes.
you figured that out as well. So I think in general, yeah, there's not a great way to change this. I mean, I can think of one, but it's really terrible. It's like excessively terrible. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna regret. I promise you, I'm gonna regret saying it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The database stores these files on disk, and you can mutate them. Maybe James knows where I'm going. You can maybe mutate them. So if you can call out to that local file where your Insomnia data directory is, you might be able to, from the test, modify the database object, then send the request as normal, but you modified it. So, but like you might be able to programmatically change the database file and get it to work. Now, that's a different thing than what the, like in-memory constructs are, because that's just the kind of a cache, if you want to think of it that way, what's on disk. But I'm not sure if it would reload or read it. It might read it. So it's possible you could do something like that, like remotely possible. And if you have access to window, you might be able to chase that dragon further down the rabbit hole and get like and mutate the request. But I have to say, the reason this is terrible is because if you did something like this, you would strongly run the risk of corrupting, pretty much everything on the screen in front of you. But it is JavaScript, so like, that's the way that JavaScript is. You can do this kind of stuff. You can eval your way through the problem. But I don't think you should try. If it were me, I wouldn't even try, because then I wouldn't want to lose stuff, or corrupt anything or break stuff.
Yeah. Well, one of the I think Suzanne, have you looked into the IMSO CLI?
Yes.
So I think that fits more into this picture of why it's hard to do this kind of things, because INSO runs with an export of your stuff, but it can run from like anywhere. So yeah, it can run on your CI. So if you run it on your CI, trying to require a file, because it's going to run the tests. So in your CI, trying to require any file you try to load needs to be, we need to make sure it's there. So that's one of the problems why we don't have this so easily. It's because it's hard to model this thing, I guess.
I like James's answer the most. Like, whatever you take away from this call, I think one thing you could try to really think about doing is just inlining the JSON. You don't need to have a separate file on disk. You could just put it right here, the text of the JSON file, into this test. You have as many lines as you need. And then from there, you can, do you need to use those JSON files in more than one test? Hello? Oh, you broke up a little bit.
Hello?
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah, actually, we are testing the APIs for the first time in our project. Okay, and they have asked us to all, field validations. Like suppose there is some item ID or some ID. So they want us to test it for like format of the ID, the text, and the length, and everything for each and every field. So that's where we got this, idea of automating it using the Insomnia. So we will be running it, of course, multiple times.
So is it a problem to put the to inline the JSON files like pet1.json, for example?
So pet1 dot, I think I'm not getting your question right. So
pet1.json.
pet1.json.
Could you pull up this file pet1.json, please? Yep. And then maybe we can. Yeah. Great. So if you copy and paste, if you copy this whole file, and then you paste it into Insomnia, yeah, and above all of this stuff, yeah, well, above, even in the top, like you could say data files. You could make const data files equals an array, and this can be one item in the array, the first item.
Yes.
And then you can add another one, the pet2 example, and that can be the second item in the array.
Yes. We okay. Yes, we can do that. But see, this is a pet store JSON, right? It is having very little body. The problem which I will be dealing with in my project, I would show. So it will be like this much big payloads. So yeah,
big ones. Oh,
yeah, it will, like this. So this is one where I am putting all the fields wrong, but one field right. In the next JSON, I will correct these two fields. In the third JSON, I am going to correct like the third field. So that's how I will be testing it. Maybe how many fields are there. Okay. So like I will be having approximately 30 JSON files. Okay. And I want to run these 30 JSONs for that particular request.
Oh, I see. So
Stalin mentioned about the Insomnia plugin save variables. Is this something that will help?
Can you share your screen, Mark, or something? I've never seen this plugin.
Oh, I've never seen this either.
Insomnia plugin save variables.
Give me a second. I've never used this screen share here.
Plugins. I don't. Just an admission of guilt here. I don't have the best exposure. I mean, I know that I've seen the names of some of them when we build the app website, but did we get it?
Sorry.
But I mean, essentially, Sajan, the thing that the thing we got to say, like, I don't think you're gonna have a lot. You're gonna be able to do what you want to do right now, except we're gonna think about it. I'm sure, like, if we come up with something, I'll let you know on the like Insomnia community Slack or email you or something. But it's not really.
Mark, should I share your screen?
Oh, there it
Sorry,
goes.
Dimitri.
Okay, it's a little blurry, but we can see kind of. Can you zoom in a little bit? Mark, can you zoom in a little bit? Cool. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. They store the variables in the plugin storage. I'm not sure that solves the problem. Like, because the problem is you want to send a post request and change the body every time before you send it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's commenting on YouTube.
I'm showing the comments then.
I use a combination of Insomnia plugin save variables and the run all plugin.
I was reading his comment.
Oh, really?
You can
okay.
pass the from one request to the next one. So make a folder in the order of tests, and it will be executed in order. So first create, then get, then update, then list. That's interesting.
And update the list. Well, I wanted to mention one thing, Sajan, about the method of having all those JSON files. What you could do is instead of creating those JSON files, you could do it with just two. One that's all of the fields are correct, and one that's all of the fields are incorrect. And if you take have you tried this? Or is that why you're laughing?
No, because these are the kind of requirements which we got from our business client. They are saying that they want to test it for each and every field.
Right. But what I was saying was, if you do that in the code, you could take the one that's correct and have an array of the keys. And I'm sorry, take the ones that are incorrect. You start with all incorrect. Or I guess you would start with one correct. But anyway, you would take the keys of all of these because the keys are the same in both, right? So you take the keys and you would go through and add up an array of the keys. And each time you go through the list, add one more from the correct one and swap out the values so that you can generate all of your permutations so that you don't have to create new JSON files every time you have a new permutation. Do you see what I'm saying?
But yes, how do I do that? I mean, are you talking like in Insomnia? I will need to do that, or
You can do that
in
just
the local?
in JavaScript in general, right? So in the test, so you would take the keys like in your array. Actually, what you're looping through is the index of the keys of the JSON file. So you would be looping through an array that has as many iterations as there are keys in the JSON file. So if you have 10 keys, then you would have 10 iterations, I guess.
Yes.
And every time you're going to add to the list, you're going to swap in the correct values up to the number of keys of that iteration index. So if we're in the third iteration, we would swap in the first, second, and third keys from the correct. So we have the incorrect. We always start every time with the incorrect as a base. But then we're going to add in a separate internal for loop, we're going to add in the correct ones respective to how many. We're going to go up to whatever the top level index is. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If that makes sense, then
Yeah, there's some testing tools that do this thing for you. Like you give them some properties and then they just like merge them and do crazy stuff. That would be an interesting plugin to see in Insomnia, because then it would be very easy to just click a button and test your API with many values.
Yep. But cool.
So
we got to get going though. But I'm sorry we weren't able to. Hopefully, it helped a little bit to hear about. It's super helpful for us to hear about what you're trying to do with it, and then there's nothing that anybody can do to get that's better than what you're doing now to get changes to happen in the app, because now that we understand your use case, all of us know about it, and when we're building on this stuff, we will keep your use case in mind. And if you hadn't reached out to us, we would never know how you're using it. So it's really, we really appreciate it, and definitely we would love to improve the testing feature in so many different ways. We have plans, but we're pretty focused right now on other things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, it was wonderful meeting you guys. And Insomnia is obviously, I mean, it's a wonderful tool so far, whatever I have explored, to be frank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much, guys. Thanks for your time.
Awesome.
Have a
Thanks
good
a
day.
lot. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, Stalin, Felipe, anyone on the stream. Thanks for the feedback, and see you next time.